How did this start? What was it that about the sex education and relationship education in the school that was concerning you?
Yes, it began last September when the government introduced new RSE regulations, so that's relationships and sex education. And they made that compulsory, but there were some things that parents could choose to withdraw their children from. And our school responded by offering a lesson on consent. And I elected for my daughter to receive that lesson. It seemed like a good idea. And we weren't told very much about it. It was just presented as something that would be of high quality by a trusted provider that has come in from outside the school. And it would meet DfE regulations, so fine. And I suppose I was a little concerned when my daughter returned from that lesson and explained that she'd been told that we live in a heteronormative world. This is a really bad thing.
Now, you might have to explain what they're sort of trying to say to people. Heteronormative world. Go on.
Yeah, well, you know, these things are open to these definitions are open to contention anyway, but largely speaking, the idea is that it's a world that expects everyone to be heterosexual or to be a man and a woman only and to have heterosexual relationships and perhaps frown on other ways of going about life. And so they asserted that that's the problem with our society. And actually, the way you should respond to that is to be sex positive in your attitude to relationships. So my thinking about that was that these were very ideological positions. And of course, in schools, teachers should not give their ideology to children as fact. You can give ideas and discuss them, but you shouldn't indoctrinate, really. So I just asked the school, could I please see that lesson plan and, you know, understand the actual words, images that were used. And the response was that the commercial interests of that provider would trump my interest as a parent to see the material, and so it had to be kept secret for commercial reasons. That was, you know, I suppose that concerned me in the sense that if there was a provider who knew they were coming to teach children, why would they not want to show what they were teaching to parents as well? So I made a Freedom of Information request to school, and it was turned down. And I also, at that point, had a good look on the provider's website to try and understand, you know, where they're coming from, and found three, you know, I think really concerning things. The first is that the website was full of ideological claims, which, you know, breaks the Education Act, really. And then the second was that it had some really sexually explicit lesson plans, and which I actually can't even describe on a morning TV show, and yet they were there on a children's education website. And then the third thing is that they linked with live links through to their own private concerns on other websites where they were selling sex toys, promoting 18+ pornography, and giving sex advice about every kind of masturbation in the most graphic detail.
So, I mean, you felt let down as a parent then? And who were you sort of most angry with? The school? Maybe you could have nipped it in the bud if they had shown you the lessons, or you could have had a conversation with them. You know, the ICO for not backing... Where did you felt at a loss, and who did you feel most angry at?
Well, it's hard to say in a way, because all parties, I think, had such a strong conviction about what ought to be taught, really for social justice reasons, that nobody could see that there were some alarming elements to this teaching. And so that there was denial from absolutely everybody that there was any problem at all, that a sex educator would have what are conflicting interests, really. And, yes.
I guess the worrying thing is that this seems to go against the government advice. I mean, it's up on the government website. It says that schools should ensure that they engage parents and that they provide examples of the resources they plan to use, for example, the books they will use in lessons. And so this school and the Information Commission are going against, it seems, everything that it says on the government website about the right of parents to see this stuff. Yes,
that's the really remarkable thing, and I'm quite stunned by the Information Commissioner's choice on this. They have gone directly against what the DfE and the Secretary of State want. And against parents, really, that, you know, all of the parents. I can't think of any parent who would think it was OK to have secrets about what their child was taught. And it wasn't just the material, actually. I asked to know who taught my child, you know, the identity of the person, so that I could know whether it was or the person who has conflicting interests. And I was told that that also should be kept secret to protect their privacy. And that was prioritised over safeguarding.
Are you appealing the decision of the Information Commissioner's Office? Are you appealing that decision?
I am hoping to appeal the decision. I think I would need to crowdfund for it. I've spoken to a lawyer about that, and I think it is something that should be done. I think parents should stand up for...
You've got to do it pretty sharpish as
You
well.
can appeal to the first-tier tribunal, but you've got to do it within 28 days of the information.
That's right, yes.
So you've got to do it
yes,
sharpish.
I'm already getting on to that. But in a way, I think what I would really like is for the Education Department, for the Secretary of State to step in and actually lay out to schools that they should not work with anyone who wants to keep secrets from parents. It's the wrong thing to do.